We're live. This is great. Welcome to Westlake Charter School's Wave Coffee Talk for November 10th, 2020. My name is John Ike, and I'm the Executive Director of our Westlake Charter School. And somebody just got a notification on their phone, whichever way. And right above me, Ms. Caillou.
Hi, it's Mrs. Caillou, your K-8 principal.
And I'm Amber Hustead, your WAVE president.
Hey, we're super excited to have you here on the YouTube live virtual coffee talk. We're having a ton of fun getting ready for today's show, and we're hoping that you will be a part of our show. We're hoping you're going to chime in, drop us some comments, some trivia answers, and we've got a special brainstorming feature tonight. The three of us will go through the show, but we also have a couple of maybe surprise guests as the show wears on. So let's take a look at the agenda and see what's going to be happening tonight. Okay, our format for the coffee talk is just like it was back when we met in the library for our coffee talks on campus. First, we'll do what we always do, and we will celebrate. We got some celebration slides. Next, we'll each present some information that we think is something you probably want to hear about. Some interesting information about the school and from the school. But then we'll open it up to our community. If you're live watching this show, we want you to jump on your internet browser, go to the URL and type in bit.ly/WCS Coffee Talk Forum. Type in that with the capitalization as it is on the screen, capital W, capital C, capital T, capital F, and that will allow you to get to our forum, and you can ask questions in our Q&A portion, but you can also use that exact same link to answer trivia questions and to engage in tonight's brainstorm. But first, we want you to start right now. Use that link. Type in bit.ly/WCS Coffee Talk Forum, and you send in a celebration so we can read it live on air. So, speaking of celebrations, we'll do what we do and dive in. Oh, yeah, that's right. Any unanswered questions for tonight, if we run out of time, we'll throw them in the FAQ page on our Return to School page. So, that's where you come in. Send us in your celebrations now, and we'll read them live on the air. Make sure you leave your name so we can shout you out. We know who you are. We'd love to see you here on air. Hey, who wants to take this first one? You want to take this one, Ms. Caillou? This is kind of a fun one.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is making classroom libraries available to students. So right here, you're going to see a kindergarten example where families can come and pick up a new book, borrow a book, and return the book. But we also have this happening over in middle school where they're doing reading conferences with their students, and then they'll say, hey, you finished that book. Do you want the second book in the series? And they'll find it on campus, and they will give it so that the child can come and pick it up. So it's just wonderful to see that, again, that home and a school connection. And so making sure kids have books to read that they're interested in at home.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Hey, can I take this next one, Ms. Hustead? Is it okay if I take this one? This is about the reflection, action, transformation piece that we did last time we were here on the Coffee Talk. I just want to shout out all of our families. Last time we were here on the Coffee Talk, we talked about the reflection, action, transformation piece, using our classroom libraries as mirrors, windows, and sliding doors for our students to access, the diverse cultures of our community. And since then, we've had so many parents donating books that represent the cultures of their families to our teachers. So many teachers have used this as their celebration in our leadership meetings, in our staff meetings. People are like, oh, I got this book this week from a family member because it represents the culture of their family. So good on you, families. Thank you so much. Keep that up. We love books. They make great gifts. So if you're thinking about gifting your teacher something, that's a great way to go. We're loving the book choices you're making. Next one up, Mrs. Hustead. Little Spirit Friday.
I love Spirit Friday. So I think it was about a week and a half ago, we had Role Model Day. And it was just so fun to see all of these pictures popping up. And a lot of parents were telling stories to their kids as well, why they dressed as certain things, like, our essential workers, and then amazing Mrs. Weiner there. And it was just a really fun day. I love seeing these pictures. It's just really like the highlight of these Fridays is just seeing these kids and hearing their stories. So keep it going.
Yeah, I love this. I think we got a Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the screen. And Hustead, I see we got a little Hustead up there in the corner, don't we?
Fun.
I love it. I love it. Such a good one. Let's see what else we got. Oh, Amber, will you take this one? Because I feel like this is all you, man.
I love this. And I get very emotional about Olympic triathlon every year. We, it's like it's stressful at the beginning and we're doing all this work, and then this final week it comes together. And here, I mean, we have volunteers who put these kits together in just a few days. We have volunteers who have been collecting these donations, and I'll tell you, in just less than a week, we've over doubled our donations. And so our families are, they're donating what they can, they're volunteering, and we appreciate all of you. And we're just so excited to celebrate together the 13th annual Olympic Triathlon this Friday.
Yeah, you know what? It's such a classic Westlake gig. I mean, our community just comes together to do cool stuff. When you talk about assembling those kits, I mean, that's 1,000 take-home Olympic triathlon kits. 1,000, 1,000 Ziploc bags, 1,000 little goodies inside. I picked up mine today for my daughter. It's very impressive. Great job, family. So good. Caillou, you want to take this one?
Oh, I would love to. I am so excited about our Westlake Charter High School video series. And so if you haven't had a chance to watch them, they are, one, entertaining, but two, the content is so fabulous as we talk about the high school program that we're about to launch. It talks about our math program, how we're going to have our spirit council, and how we've gathered middle school students right now to help to create our mascot right now. But these videos are so informative, but yet they're entertaining as well. I watch them and go, oh my gosh, if I had a high school kid right now, I'd send my kid to that high school. And so take a look at that bit.ly and make sure you watch those videos. I heard, Mr. Ike, that there's a video coming out this weekend. Is that right?
There is. Mrs. Battin and I were recording it today, doing a funny little spoof deal. So yeah, I think you'll love it. It comes out this weekend on the 15th. And I think later on in the show today, we'll talk. These videos are being moved over to our main westlakecharter.com site. We'll talk about that later in the show. So, yeah, Ms. Hustead, you've been watching the videos?
Oh, yeah, I've been watching the videos. And my son is part of the
Spirit
Council. He's so excited. So this is awesome.
It is so cool. We really want to give this high school to the kids and empower the kids to own it as much as we can. To just be like, have them be the decision makers and make it their school. It's such cool stuff. I could talk about it all night. Next celebration is the celebration of community. So everyone chime in on this, but this is what we would like everyone to do. Number one, we want to use this link right here, this bit.ly, to give us celebrations, and we can read some celebrations live on air if any have come through yet. But also, for the rest of tonight's show, we're doing a community brainstorm around community engagement. We were riffing on ways to get our community connected. I guess it was because we were talking about Olympic triathlon and how amazing it is to see all of our volunteerism kind of coming back. And we think that type of, connection between school and community it just brings so much hope. It makes us all feel so good that we thought, gosh, what are other ways to connect our community? So, Amber, you want to riff on the one that we were talking about for the after school piece?
Absolutely. So there go my dogs, of course. I apologize. A couple years ago, I think it was, at a coffee talk, that's really where the after-school club idea came from parents saying, well, what about this? Well, couldn't we do this? And so that's what we need from you. Can we do virtual after-school clubs? What do you think we could do? What would it look like? Or do you have another idea? So there's just so many things that we could do, and we want to hear from you.
Yeah, so use the link tonight. Hey, maybe we could do, maybe you have an idea for an after-school club that you think you might be able to host. Throw it in the chat tonight. We'll read it out loud. You've got a crazy idea for how we can do virtual bingo night or trivia night or whatever you got in your brain basket. Throw it in the link tonight because we want to hear on the brainstorm. Hey, speaking of the link, Jen, are there any celebrations that we should read out going forward?
We have one celebration so far from Veronica, and she said all of the parent volunteers that have helped out with OT. So Veronica has been one of those volunteers, and let's celebrate those parents that have helped make this possible. I'm very excited. Today, I just have to say, our parking lot at school was a happening place today. Like pictures and OT pickup, I was like, woo, all day long there were people, and I was leaving at like 5 o'clock, and there were still parents coming through. So make sure to pick up your bag on Thursday if you didn't get it today. So your kit for the OT if you didn't get it, or your pictures, they'll be there on Thursday.
It felt good to have so many people in the parking lot today. I got to be honest. I was like, ooh, it feels like school again. Well, hey, jumping back into our format, we celebrate. We're going to present some information, then we'll do a Q&A. So let's dive into the presentations, and in between our presentations, we'll go back to the forum and check for brainstorms. and for celebrations. So if you're watching at home right now, don't be shy. Drop in a celebration or a brainstorm. Ms. Caillou, I think you might be up first. Let's take a look at the slides here. Yeah, parent-teacher conferences with Ms. Caillou. Okay, take us through it, Mrs. Caillou. What do you got?
Absolutely. I just think it's such a great opportunity for us to review why we have parent-teacher conferences and invite families to make sure that you're part of this process. We really value our connection with home and school, and this gives us the opportunity to sit down and talk about your child's academic progress, their social-emotional progress, and to celebrate your students' growth. It's been such a powerful first trimester. We're doing something that we never thought was possible, and we've made it possible, and your families have made it possible. And so it also is a chance for us to collaborate and figure out how to best serve your student and your family. Maybe things that have been hard, or maybe things that have gone really well. And that feedback just makes us better too. And so we've been talking about it being light and bright, that this is a time for us to sit and have a positive conversation about this thing that we call distance learning, but to talk about your child's progress and to celebrate them. I know that teachers have been preparing and they're excited to just sit down and look face to face and say, hey, let's talk about your kid. And oftentimes during regular parent-teacher conferences, you'll watch the floods of families come on and off of campus, and you see parents smiling and engaging with their child, and it's a special moment. And so we're hoping to keep that feeling going. And so please make sure to sign up for your conference, enjoy your conference, and really take the time to, it's your chance to face-to-face with a teacher. It doesn't happen every day anymore at the door. And so this is the chance to collaborate together. John, if you go to the next slide, I just want to do a couple reminders because it is digital, it's virtual. So you might be like, I can't get in. So just a few reminders. Make sure to log in underneath your child's Google account, and then you're going to log in into the Meet code of the classroom. So like if you're in Soto Classroom or Caillou Classroom, and you're going to go there. So it's much like Meet the Teacher. It's like our back to school night. But I wanted to remind, while I have an audience out there, anytime I can say that, and if you need help, we have a couple of staff members online all the time to help you. You can call or text them. And so we want to make it as smooth as possible. But please make sure, we're just so excited for us to be able to keep that alive, right? We have conferences twice a year, and we really value that time. So make sure to come on out and do that.
Is it corny that I think it's awesome that you can text support? Like there's a text line. You can text message support. I don't know, maybe I'm old, but I'm like, that's so cool. Like if I'm stuck on something, I can just text the support team. They're like, this is how you log in, Mr. Ike. It's really cool. It's really
Absolutely.
I'm glad that's available. Well, I'm looking forward to conferences, man. I mean, I love that bit. I think it's such a great opportunity to jam. Hey, before we move on to the next set of slides, are there any celebrations or community feedback for Brainstorm? And then Hustead, while she's looking at that, should we dive in and do a little trivia question?
I'm going to do a trivia. Look at this. So I have a tumbler. You can see it. I love these tumblers.
Totally.
I have a little Westlake swag. It's the car magnet, or if you want to put it on your refrigerator, wherever you want to put it. And then I have a bag, and I have stickers. So let's do a little Westlake swag. So the first question, because we've been talking about how awesome it is to volunteer again, I wanted to know, where do you go to log your volunteer hours? We want you all to log your hours. So where do you go?
Where do you go to log your volunteer hours? Okay, first one with the correct answer wins. Caillou, any celebrations or brainstorms to key in on?
Not yet. So hopefully they'll come in after the next bit here.
Okay, I know you're watching because I'm watching the YouTube analytics. I know somebody's so if you're watching, I want to see a celebration for you people. Come on. Bring us a celebration or a brainstorm on how to get our community connected while we're all in this virtual space. We'll give you some time to think about while we roll into our next slides. Hey, it's Wave Talk with Amber Hustead. Amber, you want to walk us through this topic?
Absolutely. So we are all about Olympic triathlon this week, so we have to talk about it. Mrs. Gruenholz made this awesome event day checklist that was in the weekly this last week, and I just wanted to put it up there again because it's really great to be able to go, okay, what's this day all about? Because that's this Friday, and so there you have that, and you can access it on the weekly. And then fundraising. Let's talk about fundraising. So I did say that the numbers have gone up significantly. So today we have been collecting. So we haven't even entered all of the collections that happened today, but we're over 21,000 as of earlier today, and we're going to enter those donations. And I'll tell you, our volunteers got a lot of donations today. So thank you. It's just really awesome. And then once again, I just wanted to shout out those volunteers who did that work to put the kits together and to collect the donations today. And then again, we're going to be out there Thursday. So if you haven't picked up your kit yet, if you want to make a donation, make sure you get out there Thursday. We'll be there between 8 or 8:30 and 6. We've been setting up around 8. And then the event day is this Friday. And so I just wanted to kind of go over that. So once again, it's not too late to pick up your kits. And if you're scrambling and Friday morning, you go, oh no, the kits will be still out front, in front of the school on Friday morning. So just run over there, grab them, and it'll be fine. And this is all going to be asynchronous. So the students will log in the morning, have a little morning meeting with their teachers. Sorry, I didn't turn off
your notifications. It's okay. It's okay. Happens to all of us.
And we want you to log your hours because you're going to be doing these activities with your student. You're going to be doing art, Spanish, and PE with your students throughout the day or when you have time. So the great thing about this as well is the splash page will be available over the weekend. So if you don't get everything done on Friday, you can do it over the weekend. Really, it's fun to do as a family. The PE activities, we had lots of different families make videos. And so it's just a really fun day to really talk about what all this means. And we want to make sure that you know that there will be live Spanish.
Loteria.
It's loteria, and you don't have to. If you want to play at home together, you can. But Mrs. Grimaldi set this up, and I'm so excited about it.
It's going to be awesome.
So you can check that out. It'll all come out. I think we're going to put it out on Thursday night, so you'll have all the information. And then we just wanted to remind you to save the art project because we're going to bring it back to campus after the Thanksgiving break. And this is going to go on display. And the beauty of this is that we've all made it at home. It's all coming back together to make something incredible on our campus, even though we were away. That's my favorite part of it. I love that.
Me too.
So we're very excited about it. And then I just wanted to shout out one more time. We're still forming 2 committees. We've been talking about it. There's a fireworks booth, and we have a couple people that are interested in this. So we just need a few more to come in and create this committee to make the fireworks booth happen. And I know it seems really far away once again, but we have to sign the contract in December. So it comes up quickly, and it seems really far away, but it's actually really fun. You work with other families, and it's just it's a fun event. And then corporate donations. So we're reaching out to corporations who do donations that they just do on a regular basis. So we're looking for a dozen or so volunteers to just take a handful of those corporations and reach out to them. So it's something that you can do on your off time and just get a couple volunteer hours and help out with corporate donations and getting us some of that money or the gear that they have, and we'd appreciate it. So reach out to me.
Oh, here comes our special guest for the next part of the show. We'll bring her on in a second. You stay behind the scenes, special guest. Hey, Hustead, a great riff on those 2 committees. Going back to OT, which I'm so excited about. So to be clear, I got this distance learning kit, and inside that kit are all the activities for my child to play on Friday.
Yes.
But in there is the art project, and that's specific per grade level. So when it comes back together, it makes this beautiful, very specifically laid out collage.
Mm-hmm.
It's my favorite part too. I mean, I love the live loteria. I think that's genius, and I think the PE activities are super fun looking. But that idea that we're all in our homes, we have like 600 homes, about 1,000 kids. We're gonna have 1,000 art projects, all come back and be reassembled into one big art project that's going to look spectacular on campus. I think it's just something so symbolic almost about this weird distance learning time, but that we're still a community. I'm so excited about that.
I would just love to shout out our specialty teachers. Yes. I mean, Miss Jackson came up with it, and our specialty teachers just are incredible. They've all been working on this for weeks to make sure that this was still something that we could all do from home.
Yeah, love it. It's going to be so much fun. Hey, Ms. Caillou, did anybody win the trivia game?
Yep. We have a winner. Veronica is just on fire tonight.
So
she won. You go to westlakecharter.com/volunteer. And she said the WCS page volunteer tab. So that wins. And so congratulations, Veronica. But John, can I also share, we have a celebration that came in, and we also have a couple of ideas for the community.
Yeah, bring it. Let's hear all of them. I love it.
Yeah, so let me, I have to do my different tabs. So for the community brainstorm, there's a virtual mock trial. Like, could you do a virtual mock trial group?
That's cool.
And then there's a D&D club, which I'm thinking maybe it's Dragons and Dungeons. Yes, okay. And so those are two community brainstorms, like maybe those are clubs that we could have after school.
That's
and then we have another celebration. Let me make sure. Gabriella Alvarado said, Westlake staff, thank you for keeping our school great. Thank you, Gabriella.
Thank you.
So that's what we've come through so far.
I love it. I love both those suggestions. Hey, you at home, I know you got an idea right now. Don't be shy. Put it in there. We won't even say your name if you don't want, but I love these ideas, right? A Dungeons and Dragons club, that's epic. Like, how fun would that be? So, yeah, send in these ideas, keep them coming, and let's keep celebrating all night because there's tons to celebrate. Well, gosh, I don't know what we'll do on this next slide. I mean, I don't know how I'll do this all by ourselves. Oh, wait, let's have our special guest. Welcome to the stage, our high school principal. Let's do high school happenings with our high school principal, Mrs. Battin. Mrs. Battin, you out there?
I'm here. Can you see me?
Nope. Oop.
Oh, there we go.
Now we can. There we go. Hi, Mrs. Battin. How you doing?
Good evening. Hello. Good to see you. Doing well.
Good to see you. Hey, you got, just to put you on the spot, you got any celebrations? You want to drop a quick celebration since you're jumping into the show?
I do. Actually, as you were celebrating, I had so many. I have a celebration just about the Olympic triathlon. My mom very nicely went over to pick up our Olympic triathlon kit. And it was just so cool to get it at our house today. And I think my kids had heard about the Olympic triathlon happening on Friday. We've definitely talked about it in our home. But they're like, oh, we get to do all of these things. And so the early kit pickup definitely brought some enjoyment and enthusiasm to our house. And then if I can celebrate a person.
Sure. You can have two celebrations tonight.
Great. Thank you. So I'm going to just celebrate Steve Corvink, because at the end of this slideshow, at the end of my presentation, I get to unveil something secret that only our viewers today are going to get a sneak peek at, and it wouldn't be possible without Mr. Corvink. So hopefully he's out there watching. I just really appreciate our entire team's partnership, but today he came through big time, and I'm so thankful for him. So
yeah, actually, on that note, everybody, right? Like, your teacher's name. Your teacher's amazing. You know our WAVE president. You know our principals. You probably heard my big loud voice somewhere around the town. But this guy, Steve Corvink, behind the scenes, is part of the way that this whole school is successful. He is such a central key player here at Westlake Charter School, but he's super behind the scenes and nobody knows about it. So yeah, big shout out to our CBO, Steve Corvink. All right, Mrs. Battin, dazzle us. What do you got here? I'll go to your first slide.
So tonight, I'm going to I think we talked a little bit during celebrations about our video series. So I've taken some key elements of each of the videos that we've produced so far to give a general overview. I will say at the beginning and the end of this, though, go check out the video series. We've seen lots of people watching them. We're excited to see our community taking part in it. I've had people out in the Thomas community talk to me about them, and I'm like, we don't even go to our school, so that's awesome. That's where we want to get. We want these to be spread out to our entire community. So I'm gonna share 4 key elements of our high school program tonight that, again, we talk a little bit more detail about in our high school video series. So first, one of the pieces that I wanted to share tonight is something that I think we are so excited about, which is our Flex Block program and the academic and social emotional Flex Block. This really is a piece that I think the denominator of it is time, right? So as we think about all of our jobs and schooling, the thing that we're constantly seeking more of is time and the ability to use time in ways that serve our personal needs, right? And so as we thought about extending our pillar of personalization through our high school program and how to use time to make that happen, the Flex Blocks were kind of born from that idea. So we started with our graduate profile, which is based on our pillars and our core values, and backwards map from there, and got to this idea of academic and social emotional Flex Blocks. And I could probably take my entire presentation time talking about them, but
the long and short of it is that there will be 5 periods each week, so 1 period each day or a block of time each day where students will receive that personalized instruction and support or extension that they need to be successful. And I think a piece that we're excited about for high school is that we see our high school students really beginning to take ownership over their academic needs and social emotional needs, and personalizing their schedule themselves. Because we know that when you get to college and your business communications professor says, hey, I have office hours at 1 o'clock, if you don't know that when you're in this kind of situation, you should probably access those office hours, then you could go all the way through the entire semester, end up not receiving that very valuable help. That may be a personal story that I just shared there. So I think that by teaching our high school students to look at their data, both academic and social emotional, and use this time that we've built into the day where our staff are available and crafting both synchronous and asynchronous learning modules that students can take advantage of, again, to receive academic intervention, but also that extension piece. I'm going to talk in a moment about 2 key pieces where we see extension taking place in those academic flex blocks. However, I think that it would be easy to stop there and say, we're going to do academic flex blocks, right? But if we look at our mission statement, and we know that our mission statement calls for an equal focus on academic and social emotional readiness, the development of both of those pieces, purposely planning social emotional flex blocks is equally important to us. And as we've shared this plan with other community members, other high school folks, people who are kind of looking at our school and say, hey, what are you guys doing? I think this piece speaks to, again, that extension of our mission statement. And so while I am pumped about both pieces, I think the fact that we see that social emotional support personalization being intentionally embedded into the day each week is really, really exciting. So I'll stop there because otherwise I'll go on forever.
Well, I love how these manifest in the next slides. You talk about embedded honors and college courses and all the things. Really a great piece here. Let's see what you have on the next slide here.
There it is. So as we look to provide those extended learning opportunities to our students, again, realizing our pillar of personalization in high school, we have worked with some other area high schools and people who have built embedded honors programs in their program to develop that are truly embedded into our traditional course offerings. So my biology is probably my favorite example. It's one I always seem to lean on, where you will have a biology course, and Amber, I'm going to use you. If you are the science-minded person, you see yourself, maybe going into marine biology as a major in college. And I like science, but it's not, it's something I'm going to do as completing one of my A through G requirements towards graduation. You may take an embedded honors class. You may elect in your 4-year planning with your counselor and academic team to attempt that or to complete that embedded honors class. And I may select to just take biology without honors. However, you and I would be programmed into the same course. So we would have the same teacher. We'd go to second block together. The difference would be that your syllabus would have honors coursework associated with it. So going back up to that flex block period, well, what does honors coursework mean? I've been asked by a lot of our middle school families, is that just more homework, Mrs. Battin? We've seen those honors programs that are sending home 4 to 5 hours of homework. And for us, that's not the intention of it. The intention is to take that learning that you're doing in that biology class and truly extend it, go deeper with the learning, apply it in different ways. And we see that happening during flex blocks, having these really cool honor seminars. We've gotten to talk to some potential staff member, people who are like, we want to come work at your high school. And we pitch this idea to them, and they're like, oh my goodness, what I could do with that time. So again, something we're very excited about. These are UC approved honors courses. So the CSU and UC system recognize them as advanced coursework. They provide that positive GPA bump upon successful completion. I've had some questions on private schools. We've talked to a couple of college admissions officers at private schools who are also like, yep, pretty much those UC pieces the UC system approves, we recognize them as well. So again, a great bump. Important to note that these are open to all students, so that they're not something that we're taking a test to get into or a certain GPA gets you in, that these are decisions that you will make with your academic advisory team as you do that 4-year planning if it's an area of interest for you or potentially a future major that you would be entering into college in.
Such an exciting piece. I love the idea that you and Amber are in the same class, but on flex blocks, Amber's rocking some honors biology seminars with some hands-on stuff. And during your flex blocks, you're you're getting a little help with your math class, or maybe your honors embedded with a different class in your flex block. I love that piece. Going forward, let's see dual enrollment.
Exactly. So again, I alluded to that taking college courses during flex block time, and this is where that piece comes in. So I want to, before I jump to dual enrollment, I want to talk to the other part of that header, which is college proven. So we are committing through our graduation requirements that all of our Westlake Charter High School graduates will graduate college proven. You may have heard out in the high school world, our students are college ready. It's great, right? They're ready to take college. But we know that the rigor of college demands so much, and we want to ensure that our students are not just college ready, but they are college proven in high school, that we provided the intentional planning and structure and support to allow them to be successful in college. And so with that completion of at least one college course, we will we'll put that college proven stamp. I'm going to make a stamp that says college proven on the transcript. The other piece, though, is that we do see students, I think, as we talk about our 4x4 schedule, again, go check out the videos if you haven't seen them, because we'll do a deep dive into that piece. But we see that 4x4 schedule allowing for so many of our students to take advantage of other college coursework, whether that is advanced mathematics or science classes, and taking advantage of the CTE, career technical education pathways, and so many exciting pieces there. And that these college courses will be offered on our high school campus. Our students will be supported by a WCHS staff member, but then also remotely supported by an ARC professor. And so really exciting opportunities. And this partnership does allow our students to access those classes on an ARC campus during the summer if they'd like to, or things like that. So we really are opening the gateway to that ARC partnership, and they have been tremendous partners with us thus far. So we're so excited to continue to work with them.
We just met with the president of Los Rios Community College last week. That was a great meeting, and this piece is phenomenal, Ms. Battin. Take us through this last piece right here. I know we can do 50 slides. You really hit some highlights, some 40,000 foot highlights here. What do you got here?
So we know, as we talk about college proven and making sure that all of our graduates have the door to college and university open to them, that they decide to walk through that door or decide the next step of that path, but that they are graduating ready to take that step. That math is the gatekeeper to that process, right? And this was work that I started. Leslie Sargent, our director of high school development, really began to dive into early last year. We were lucky enough to partner with the San Francisco Unified School District, as well as Escondido Union High School District, both of whom went through a process of de-tracking their math programs in 2013, and have had tremendous success. And so being able to build on the back of something that's so successful is very exciting for us. So by de-tracking our math program, we are having all of our students build a strong mathematical foundation, that we're not jumping ahead to jump ahead, but that we are ensuring that everybody enters and takes builds that strong mathematical foundation, so that as they get into the higher math classes, they're not only successful, they also continue to love math, because we know those students who are going to choose those higher math classes, we want them to take math into college and beyond. And so we will be using an integrated math approach, which again, partnering with those two districts as well as other mathematical professionals in the people in the industry. That integrated approach is going to give them that full, well-rounded mathematical foundation. And yet still at the same time, I think sometimes we hear de-tracking and we're like, oh, but is my advanced math student not going to be able to access that highest level college course? And this math pathway allows for all students to access the highest level math courses. And I think in partnership again with that 4x4 schedule, we see students having multiple opportunities to access the highest level courses. And it's really, really an exciting piece. Even that those college level courses, again, college proven. Yeah,
Ms. Battin, you presented this to the board last month, and it's on YouTube if anybody wants to see it, but maybe we should do a one-off math video at some point, because honestly, I'm a big advocate of this particular math strategy, but when you showed me the multiple pathways, and how every kid can start here and end up in college math, I was just like, yes, it is a door wide open for every kid to step through, and it's just well done. It really matches, aligns with what we're trying to do in the high school for all kids.
Yeah.
Hey, I know that's the last slide, Em, but
Oh, I have one more, I think, actually. I may have slipped one more in
you
there.
slipped one out. I was going to say, can you hang around if there's any questions? But yeah,
Yeah.
if you have questions, I think this next slide might answer some of them. Sorry,
Yes.
Ms. Battin,
We'll
what's on this next slide? I forgot.
Well, for all of our viewers tonight, there's a little update to our Westlake Charter School website that is so exciting. And I shout out Mr. Korvik, and I did not, to shout out one more person, Mrs. Sargent, our Director of High School Development, was also an integral player in making this come to life today. So thank you. I get to be the person who comes on the screen and talks, but without her partnership, we would not be where we are today with our high school. So I just need to shout her out as well. I'll stop doing my Oscar speech, I promise. But
You guys are a dream team for sure, man, for sure. So I can go to westlakecharter.com, click on WCHS, and I'll get on this new little website that houses all of our videos that we're referring to, and all the information is going to be landing there. Is there FAQ there too?
There is a link to email admin at Westlake Charter. So I think we've navigated back to kind of our normal protocol with emailing, and I'll get those. Let Mrs. Sargent and I'll get those emails and respond quickly. We've already had some coming in. I don't know from this, but yesterday we had a few come in, so it's exciting times. But really excited about this website. It's going to be one to watch, right? So we have some anticipated rollouts. We're, over the next few weeks, as our Spirit Council does some work on our high school mascot, there'll be some unveils happening there. Yeah. So check it out tonight if you're watching, but share it with friends, share it with community members. It's going to be a great place as we build towards our lottery on December 1st, our lottery opening December 1st. So we are excited for our first 9th grade class.
I'll be keeping my eye on this website, see if any new logos or swag pops up. And Mrs. Battin was showing me some logo ideas today, and I was like, oh boy. This is exciting, Battin. Hey, we're going to keep the show rolling, maybe throw one more trivia question out there. You mind hanging around, though, because in the Q&A section, people might have questions?
I would love to.
Yeah, super cool. Hey, Jen, are there any celebrations or brainstorms you want to shout out from the forum?
Just one celebration just came in. It's Mrs. O'Hagan is in the background populating it. It literally just popped up. And so I'm celebrating Coffee Talk. I appreciate the incredibly valuable information, friendly presentation, and community building. That's from Cassie All Yang.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we love some coffee talk too. This is good. Hey, Hustead, you want to throw out one more trivia question, and then I'll jump into my section?
Sure. So I think we might have just given a little hint at this. But my next trivia question was, when does the 21-22 enrollment period for new students, so when can you submit? Don't apologize. This is good. Hopefully you were listening.
That's right.
So when does the lottery, the enrollment period, open?
There we go. And well, if you were listening, you probably rewind on YouTube and hear Mrs. Battin say it. We got to be quick. Hey, let's dive in and do what we do. This is my section right here. I've got the last section of the show. Then we'll open it up to a question and answer. I'm going to talk about steps to reopening. I know we've given out information on this just recently. We're going to give out more this weekend. But I thought, hey, for those viewers who are here tonight, this is probably a topic that's on everyone's mind. It's like, oh my goodness, when are we going to reopen campus and get people back to school? And so I'll riff through a couple of slides here. And again, if you have questions, you can ask them at the end of the show, and we'll try and get to everybody's Q&A. I know it's probably something that's on everybody's mind. So let's dive in and see what happens here. I want to kind of show you this slide from the board meeting. It kind of was a timeline, and it's really revolving around communications. And we're continuing to follow this timeline. First all, we said, hey, we're going to start communicating our plan as it comes into focus by November 1st. And as you recall, on November 1st, we sent out communications. We had 2 videos, one of them starring Mrs. Grunholtz and myself. Another one was just me talking about instructional models. Both those videos are available. I'll show you where to find them today. But we sent out communications on the 1st, along with kind of a 2-page PDF, so you can kind of get an eyeball on what we're talking about. But we've also promised back there at the board meeting that we would send out next level of communications on November 15th. That's this Sunday, and we've been gearing up ever since the board meeting. So our team has been working on updates to our return to school handbook. Our current handbook is on the website, but this Sunday, we'll have a whole revised version of the handbook. And I'll walk you through a couple of the pieces today that you're likely to see in the handbook. Very proud of, you got our vice principal, Mrs. O'Hagan, Melissa Gruenholtz, our operations manager, both kind of leading that charge. But, our entire teacher leadership team is working on this. Speaking of Mrs. Gruenholtz, if she were here right now, I think, she would probably tell you that we work on this handbook every single day. And just to shout her out, she is fantastic. And I think
she is lurking in the sidelines.
Hey,
just
she is.
Hear you say that.
Hi, Mrs. Gruenholtz. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks, John.
Hey, thanks for jumping into the to the coffee talk, man. We're just kind of talking about the comms. How much time are you putting in every single day on getting this handbook ready for distribution November 15th?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. I can't put a time on it, but it's definitely a daily iteration, getting feedback, bring it before a new group, community, and keep pulling it forward to where it's helpful for all of the audience it's intended for.
Yeah, a shout out to the whole teamwork makes the dream work, right, Melissa? Because you're working with teachers, then you're taking it over to classified staff, you're bringing it over to the admin team, and this ball just bounces around and it gets better every time. We just took a drafty version of it to leadership on Monday. That was yesterday. And already this thing has had many edits to it today. So I love the way it's coming together. I know you're pulling resources from the Center for Disease Control, the Sacramento County Public Health. We're stealing things wherever we can find them from reputable sources. So good work on this. Well, hey, MG, I'm going to just riff through reopening plans. Let's me and you tag team this. So we're going to communicate on the 15th, which is this Sunday. The very first thing you're probably wondering is, what are the dates for reopening? And that's going to be in the handbook. We're going to really clarify what dates we are planning for reopening. We're going to take that to the board on this Thursday as well as part of our reopening plan presentation to the board, so that our board has an opportunity to give feedback on that. That's why we're not giving out the information tonight. We'll make sure our board gets it. But a lot of this information is dependent on, the Sacramento County Public Health information. And so, Melissa helped build this spreadsheet, and she's the one that updates the spreadsheet every day with the epidemiology website's daily number of new cases in Sacramento. So, Melissa, this chart here is what I showed at the coffee talk on October 15th, right? And this is our weekly numbers just going down. And do you remember we were like, oh,
it looked so good back then.
We were like, oh, we are on our way to opening. So October 15th, we were like, all right, people, sorry it's going to take us so long, but we're going to start getting ready. We'll talk to you on November 1st. Well, here it is, November 10th. We spoke to everybody on November 1st. November 10th, same chart. And it's going back the other way.
Yeah.
So thank you, Melissa, for filling this out every day and curating this data.
Yeah, it's easy to see the trend when you look at it daily. Yeah.
Yeah, you are. I mean, every day you're plugging the data in. So just to, for all of our viewers at home, then this is what happened today. We know that every Tuesday, the state of California, using that Blueprint for a Safer Economy website, they indicate where our county is in the the safety risk level, and the highest level is widespread, based on the number of daily new cases and the positivity rate. And Sacramento today was redesignated as purple or widespread, meaning that schools are not allowed to reopen this week. So if we were planning to open this week, we couldn't. Now, the current rate is 9.7 new cases per day per 100,000 inhabitants of Sacramento. We all know it's 1.5 million inhabitants, so you can multiply 9.7 by 15-ish, and that's how many people per day in Sacramento County are contracting COVID-19. And we also have a 4.1 positivity rate. Melissa, do you remember what is the rate we have to be below to be underneath widespread? We're at 9.7. What's our
7?
Yeah, 7's our top rate. Do you remember their top rate for the positivity one?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it's 5. I mean, so we're starting to eke up on that one as well. And there are the other indicators about availability of hospital beds, which we're still in a great place on, and availability of respirators, which we're also in a great place on in California and in Sacramento. But so What does this mean, everybody? We cannot open school until we are red. Okay, well, we weren't planning on reopening until January, so we were going to give you a January date this weekend. And we will continue to give you a date this weekend based on January, but we'll have to put a little caveat in there that says, first of all, based on the county data, this is the date we're shooting for. Now, if we get to that date and we're purple, we're going to have to move the date until we're red. So hopefully everybody understands that. We'll spell it out as clearly as possible in the handbook so that everybody can read it and understand, okay, I get it. We're planning to open up right here, but if we're in purple, it'll slide to here, here, and here. So that is probably the most important update in the handbook. The next update are health and safety protocols. Melissa, you and your team have really put together a lot of the stuff that I think everybody would see, you know, health screening, hygiene practices, washing your hands, social distancing. But the Westlake piece, above and beyond that, is what you guys have done. I mean, between the dots on the ground and the videos and the hand washing songs and all the things, and even, you know, this chart here, MG, can you just tell me, like, that the bottom chart there, if I'm a parent and I see this in the family handbook, what is this telling me down here?
Yeah, that's a really helpful tool that we'll be using as a school, and we'll publish it for parents as well. So the top part of it breaks the COVID symptoms down into low risk and high risk. And then there's kind of a chart of what to do if you have if you are experiencing those symptoms. So I can't see it from here, but I believe it says if there's one or more high risk, that you need to stay home for 72 hours, and they recommend that you see your doctor. If there's one or more low risk, you can start with just staying home for 72 hours and kind of evaluate whether or not to see your doctor, that type of a thing. So that's how we're going to be evaluating students and staff as we return to campus as well, and what the return to campus, if you are sent home with a COVID symptom, will look like.
And I love that this is in the handbook because it's going to give us all time to get familiar with it. Like, oh, I see. So if I have a fever, I should stay home until I'm fever-free for 72 hours without medication. Okay, check. But if I just got one of the low-risk symptoms, I got a little sniffles or something, okay, maybe I don't have to stay home for 72 hours. Maybe the fever is the bad example because it's actually low risk. I get it.
So basically, the really surprising thing is for any symptom, you do need to actually stay home for 72 hours until you're symptom-free, but only some of them is it recommended to get doctor's care. Right. So that is different. It used to be that if we sent you home with a fever, it'd be 24 hours fever-free without a fever-reducing medication, and it's now up to 72 hours based on Sac County Public Health and the California Department of Public Health as well. And it's not just a fever, it is a runny nose, a severe headache, basically anything you'd go to the health office for, except for, stubbing your toe or something, is now stay home for 72 hours. And
we currently have staff following these guidelines now. And so we have staff saying, hey, I think I can come to work. I feel fine, but I got this symptom. We're like, hey, work from home or stay home. So this is a good little piece. It'll be on display in the handbook. And then we also have internal protocols for how we as a school will react to each one of these scenarios, which we probably won't publish in the handbook because it is pages and pages long, but it involves contact tracing and making sure that we know who has or has not been tested and exposed. Hustead, do you have a thought on that?
I just have a question. I mean, families, that kind of seems overwhelming, but the good news is that they can still learn at home still, right?
Totally.
So, hey, I have to stay home for 72 hours. I can still get online, so they're not missing that schoolwork, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. We'll talk a little bit about health and safety. We have a big section in the handbook about like our air filtration system, for example. And one of the things it says when you do your homework on air filtration systems is it says, hey, you can have the best air filtration system in the world, but the number one thing you should do to have clean air in your classrooms is keep COVID out of the classrooms. So we really want to be diligent about saying, hey, if you have any symptoms at all, stay home, please. We'll facilitate distance learning. We'll make sure you're still learning. But please, we want everyone to be diligent about this because our air filtration system, our HVAC, is the best you can get. Our school's only 4 years old. We have MERV 13 filters. They filter down to 0.05 microns. it turns over the air every 6 times per hour. It's great. But look, the best thing we can do is keep COVID out of the classroom to keep our students safe. So we think following all these health protocols that are laid out by the CDC and the Sacramento County Public Health are really the way to go. So you're right, Amber. It's a little freaky. Like, oh, really? A sneeze and I got to stay home? Hey, follow the rules and we'll keep our school open. And if we keep our school open, we can go from this baseline schedule. Maybe we get to increase capacity. Maybe at some point, very soon, we're going to school like 4 or 5 days a week. Wouldn't that be amazing? We won't get there, though, if we're all like popping an Advil and being like, oh, yeah, no fever here. Like, don't do that. Follow these rules and we'll keep this school open. Because Westlake's, I think, doing it well. Melissa, your team is crushing it. If we all follow these rules, this is going to work well for us. So, yeah, good question, Amber. So the next piece of the plan, and again, in that handbook, there's lots on health and safety. Read through it, ask us questions. We'd love to answer them. But there's a lot on arrival, dismissal, movement around campus, getting out to recess. And I put this picture on the screen because, Melissa, when we dreamed this up and you were like, wait, we're going to do what? And you and your team, Joe Ashman, big shout out, built this map. If you zoom in on your screen, there are literally like thousands of dots on this.
I've never counted them. That would be a great trivia
That
question.
would be great. That would be a great one.
Next month.
Let's do that. Hey, guess how many dots we placed on campus. Put it in the form now. We'll let you know someday who won because that's a great question. Yeah, so we put dots all around campus. What's funny, Melissa, is I have received emails from educators around the state. I don't know how this information is getting out there. I guess people are watching our YouTubes, but people are saying, did you really spray paint dots all across your campus 6 feet apart in straight rows? Can we get an image of that? And I'm sending this map to people all over the state. I just got somebody from Florida High School yesterday. Is like, can I get your map? So big shout out. Why do we have dots, Melissa? Like, what's the point? We started with this grid so that we could do what?
It's hard to imagine how far apart 6 feet is. I'm 5'11", so I'm right there at 6 feet, but I don't know how far it is unless I lay down on the floor.
Right.
So as grown-ups, as adults, we can't tell if we're 6 feet apart. So having a dot as a quick check to stay safely 6 feet apart has been really helpful.
It also created a grid for us to draw all of our other maps on top of. And so, you look at all the work we're going to do about entrance gates and exit gates and car pickup and walking gates. How do I get to class and follow the little arrows? By having a grid on our campus, our teachers can now take this map, draw a little box and say, hey, I want to go chalk out 30 dots and move my kids out into this space and have ownership over this space. Our recess people are like, we're going to play red light, green light on this grid right here. And I know we can all fit there. So it's really, I love that we started there, but it just shows the dedication. We've already spray painted our entire campus to make sure that our students are safe and that we can move around campus, on and off campus, safely and out to recess. So there's plenty of information in the handbook on that. And the last piece then is classroom protocols and instruction. Now, I'm going to show you on the next slide a couple of videos that we did that'll walk you through the details of kind of everything we've talked about thus far. But really, there's a whole video just about instruction. As you look at this example here for kindergarten through 4th grade, it talks about what we're trying to do in our baseline model that, hey, I'm going to come to school because I'm cohort A on Monday. I'm going to get to the classroom. My cohort B friends, they're going to be learning at home while I'm in the classroom. Then I'm going to go home, and the cohort B kids are going to jump on and do some live learning with their teacher. And look, is this how we envision learning? Is this our idyllic view of what school should look like? No, we want kids in school all day, every day. We'd keep them here until midnight, we would. But we've got to take what we have, carve it up, and make sure everybody gets some equal portion. But I think the best way to conceptualize how we arrived here is this. What are we trying to accomplish? MG, I think your jam is the health and safety piece. This schedule is built on health and safety. Can you explain what we're trying to accomplish with health and safety that drives us to having to have a split schedule?
Yeah, one of the best ways to stay healthy on campus is to keep maintaining the social distancing. And while we can fit as maximum up to 22 kids in a classroom, when the kids first come back, they're not going to know how to stay in their 6-foot bubble. So we're going to have half capacity when we return. So you have a little bit more wiggle room as you learn how to keep your mask on, as you learn how to stay 6 feet apart, both in class as well as in the walkways.
Yeah, so this is all about social distancing. I mean, it's it's all about, hey, we can't all be in the classroom, especially the middle school, 28 kids, you just can't get them on there. But hopefully we can grow through increased capacity to a point where we can get more kids in the classroom safely once we get good at it. And the other piece is keeping our community connected. It's been a commitment since March. And I know there's other districts and other schools that are saying, Emily, she's going to be on distance learning, so we're going to send her to this classroom. And Jen, she's going to come back to school, so we'll put her in this classroom. Well, then we'd have to reorganize classrooms. And then we'd have to say, hey, Emily, your family chose distance learning. We'll see you at summer. You're gone until summer. So we break up classes and reorganize kids, and you'd end up in a distance learning class, have to be committed till summer, and I can come back to school and we just go, that's just not Westlake. Our commitment to academic and social emotional readiness means that being part of our cohort, being part of our classroom, staying with our teacher and staying with our classmates is incredibly important. And so this schedule says you will stay with your teacher, you will stay with your classmates, and as we grow and hopefully get to increase capacity, we'll see more of each other. This also allows us to say, if your family's not ready to come back in January, we'll give you another checkpoint after February break. Hey, if you're not ready to come back then, okay, we'll give you another checkpoint after spring break, because that way our families have an opportunity to come back. It breaks my heart to hear in some districts and schools that they've said, hey, sorry, you selected distance learning. That's what you get to do until June. So, hey, I know it's a burden for all of us to adopt a new schedule like this, but we want you to hear from our hearts that this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep it safe. We're trying to keep our kids and our community together, and we think we're going to do a good job of it, and so we appreciate your support. Before we leave this topic, I want you to know where you can get more information. On the Westlake Charter website, you click on WCS at the top, and then you click on the little drop down where it says Return to School. There is a Return to School website. It's got our videos on it. It'll have the handbook embedded on it this weekend. And then down here at the bottom, you can jump on tonight. There are some FAQs that are already populating from questions that people are asking right now in real time. So we are trying to be transparent with as much info as we can give you. So if you're like, I just need more information, go jump on that website because I promise you there's some good intel on there. And if I had another hour, I'd talk your ears off here. But why would we do that? We have the videos already there. Any last thoughts on that, MG?
No, and just keep the FAQs coming as well, emailing admin@Westlake Charter, or if you haven't submitted your survey quite yet, that's the last question on the survey. We do have a few new ones that we'll be updating this week, and we'll keep those going as they come in. Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Well, that wraps up our report on reopening next steps. I know we ran a little long, and it's close to 7 now, you guys, sorry. We usually have 15 minutes of Q&A. For those of you who can stay, and no pressure, let's hang around for at least 10 minutes or something and see if we get some questions populating in. And if no questions come in, we just talk to each other because it's so nice to have you all on the screen. Was there a winner for the trivia question, Ms. Caillou?
Yeah, Catherine Taylor said December 1st, and she is correct. So yes, Catherine Taylor is our trivia winner.
All right, awesome. All right, way to go. And any celebrations or brainstorms before we jump into Q&A?
I do not see any here. Nope, we had a couple trivia ones come in, but no questions or brainstorms. So if you're out there and you have a question, please make sure to take the time right now to ask a question. You have all of these wonderful people on the screen that are be happy to answer it live for you.
Yeah, let's give everybody a couple minutes. If they want to ask a question. Hustead, I know you kind of play the eyes and ears of our community for me so often. I'm so grateful for you. You're always like, hey, John, this is how I see your communication. I would have asked this question. You always make me smarter. Hey, as you look at the reopening or the high school or any pieces that we've talked about tonight, any questions bubbling up for you?
I have a couple. I definitely think that we talk a lot about the K through 4. And then I think a lot of the 5 through 8s are kind of wondering how that'll look.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be different, right?
It's a great question. I was going to put it on the slide tonight because it's in the handbook, and it's also in the video that we put out on November 1st. But if you didn't watch the video, I should have done both on the slides tonight. It does look different because I think in the K4 model, and this is all built by our teachers, which is what I love about Westlake, is this shared leadership responsibility where, if you just put me in my office, I come up with great plans. But I put them out there, the teachers would be all, this is horrible. So we really engage our teaching community around these instructional planning. And really on the K4 side, they said, look, when you have a room full of kindergartners on your screen, every one of them needs my full attention. Johnny, Susie, Rodrigo, Bobby, like everybody, right? So then taking half those kids and putting them in my classroom, I know each one of them is going to need my full attention. And each one of these kids on the screen are going to need my full attention. And there is no way as a kindergarten, first, second, third grade teacher that I'm going to be able to, just no way. Now, someday, maybe we get really good at this. And 4 weeks from now, we're like, I'm going to rock this. Do morning meeting live on screen and in the class. Maybe, but we're not going to start that way because we just think we want to start in a very predictable, sensible place from which we can grow and serve our kids well. So K4, it makes a lot of sense to do that. Now, 5th through 8th grade came back and said, well, I don't know. Our kids are pretty savvy. They're doing really well in distance learning instructional methodologies. Our kids are logging into the classroom, getting information, logging into a small breakout group and working really well, jumping back in and asking questions of the teacher. So they're doing really well. So they're going to experiment with this kind of wild concept that says, okay, 5th through 8th grade is going to come to class. They're going to launch class at whatever time, at 8:30, whatever time it starts. But the kids at home are going to be logging in simultaneously. So the kids in class are going to be on a Chromebook. The kids at home are going to be on a Chromebook. But there's going to be these times where the teacher goes, okay, everybody, break out to work on your project. And then the teacher can work live with the kids in class. And kids at home can pop on the screen and ask questions too. There'll be times when kids in class will get to collaborate with one another, right? Because we want that. We want people to have an opportunity to learn socially. And the kids at home might be simultaneously collaborating with each other on screens. There also might be times where kids in class and kids at home are collaborating with each other digitally just like they do now. So, the 5th through 8th grade's taking a much more experimental approach to that, but we think that those grade levels have proven that the students are performing so well in this model that we're like, well, I think we could utilize this model to keep this going. So we're still working on, everywhere we start will be a place to start. And we will learn and grow and get better as we go. We know that, week 5 of distance learning and week 10 of distance learning were a lot better than week 1. And I think it'll be the same when we get to January into February and going forward. So we're looking forward to giving it a shot. We'll look for everyone's patience and support as we pull it all together. Any other questions out there, team? Jen, do we have any questions populating in?
We had a comment question, and
okay.
So it says one of the toughest things about distance learning schedule is having multiple children at different break or lunch times, which we've heard. That had been done so the kids would be on the same schedule when we returned to school, but the school model has now changed. Any chance of getting the kids on the same lunch and breaks during distance learning like it would be for hybrid? It would be nice if siblings could lunch and play together during distance learning rather than be alone.
Yeah, you know what? I think we should take that to leadership this week. That's a good call. The thing is, like, when we thought we were all coming back to school, this staggered lunch was a necessity, and we're like, well, we might only be in distance learning for a couple of weeks, and then it just went, oh my gosh, we've been in this forever. So that's a great shout out. Whoever left the comment, let's take it to leadership. I mean, it's November 10th now. We go into leadership. I mean, who knows? Maybe in the next couple of weeks we could reiterate that and say, hey, between now and the reopening or the baseline, maybe it's something we could explore. I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but I mean, what if we stay in purple and we think we're opening in January and the purple just keeps going? Well, then it is appropriate for us to iteratively make distance learning better than it is now. I mean, MG, you're kind of my master schedule wizard. Is it a crazy thought for us to think, what's the hiccup with going to the same lunch while we're on distance learning? Is that other than the teachers having to change their own little schedules with independent meetings and things like that? Is there any other reason? Am I missing something?
No, that's the biggest part. We were really doing it for when we returned to campus,
Right.
but that plan has adjusted as well. So when we are in our baseline model, congratulations, everybody has lunch at the same time. 11:30, 12, you
That's
pick,
true.
right?
That's true.
But it would be interesting to look at the distance learning model as we continue.
Yeah, let's look at that. Let's take that to leadership, you guys, because I think if teachers are okay with it, I mean, I think it, and I'm looking at you, Amber, like it feels like a benefit for our families to get everybody on one lunch now that we've gone so long going, thinking we were going to come back.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a benefit. Mrs. Battin and I had talked about this kind of when it first started, and just like she predicted, a lot of the schedules have been pretty flexible.
True.
With so kids are doing, so we kind of adjusted the lunches if they weren't live. And so my kids generally eat together every day, which has been nice because they generally don't have, it just lined up well.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean, it would be beneficial because as a parent, it's nice to make lunch one time.
Yeah, right. I love it. Any other questions out there, Ms. Caillou, on the forum?
One more came in, and which is a great question. I think we've been talking about, but this parent said, I might have missed this, but I forgot about, anyways, she had got on late. But her middle schooler wants to know if a middle school will have a recess/break during hybrid so that they can see other friends that might not be, so how do they get to have the chance to socialize? Because they don't have like a recess, right? You
think middle schoolers want to see each other?
Imagine that, right?
Somebody write this down. Yeah, what a great question. Whoever asked that question, thank you. And thank you to your student for asking you to ask that question. Yeah, it's a great question. Look, we actually had that conversation in leadership, was it yesterday? Yesterday, because we're trying to say what's the best way to give kids the opportunity to get outside, get some socialization? We have the dots on the ground. So we're going to say, hey, while you're outside, you got to respect the 6 feet. You've got to help us out on that. We got to stay with our face coverings. We got to stay 6 feet apart. But hey, I was out today on the middle school quad talking to Mr. Corvink, and we were 6 feet apart, masked, getting some fresh air, getting some sunshine, rapping. I thought, hey, this is okay. We're outside, and our kids can socialize the same way. We've talked about are we going to take breaks by classroom, by grade level? And so there's that conversation. I don't know that we could put 300 middle schoolers, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade all outside at one time because it would I don't think we have that many dots on that side of campus. So it would probably be grade level or classroom. And I think wherever we start, if we do a good job, we can grow. So again, our big message is let's take this thing seriously. Maybe we start small. A couple classrooms at a time or whatever, and we grow and say, okay, we're acting responsibly, we're able to keep ourselves safe. Because the last thing we want to do is bring everybody back on campus, have the 300 kids all out at break time, and we're like, separate like you're at a dance. Get away from each other. You're right. You're working the high school dance. Last thing in the world we want to do is have to deal with that, and we have to shut down a week later because everybody got sick. So I think we start from a place that feels safe and responsible. We'll just keep growing that practice to the point where we all understand the rules and we get more and more breaks and more kids outside. I think the teachers also have kind of a naturally built-in commitment to breaks during class as well that are specific to the class. So I can imagine, kids in the class taking a step out, getting some outdoor fresh air time, not even necessarily the whole grade level. And on that note, I think our teachers have that flexible mindset regarding seating. I can't imagine, you come back to middle school that we're all going to be stuck in class 6 feet apart for this entire block of time. I could fully see our teachers being like, hey, if you want to work outside in the fresh air, please do so responsibly, just like they did before we left, right? We saw our students outside or in the flex room or whatever all the time. So I can imagine us doing that.
John,
go.
There's one more question in here, which is such a good question. So we mentioned in the video about our staggered arrival time. So school starting at 8:30 or 8:45 or 9 o'clock. And this parent, Carissa, is asking, she said, hey, can I drop off all my kids at the same time, even if they start at different times?
Yeah, we got to communicate. Hey, MG, let's make sure that just is like called out in bold in the handbook. Because I read the handbook and it totally says to me, oh, yeah, Krista can drop off all her kids at one time. But I want to make sure Mrs. Johnson reads it the same way I read it. Because I think that's something we've talked about a lot. We are 100% not expecting you to make laps.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Del Paso days you had to, right? Different things like that. But yes, there's a whole page, I believe, on arrival, and that will be included.
Yeah, so the long and short is you'll be able to drop off all your students at one time. And we're talking about, okay, if you drop off at X o'clock, what do your kids do if their class doesn't start yet? They go directly to class. I mean, everybody tell your kids, when you get out of the car, we're going to go through the gate. We're going to do our health screening at the gate, grab hand sanitizer at the gate. We're going to follow our dots from the gate with our hand sanitizer straight to class. And even if you're early, we've got you taken care of. So you're good. You're good. Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks, Mrs. Johnson. Hey, Jen, any other questions you got?
No other questions have come through.
Let's wrap it up, you guys. If you have questions at home and you're like, oh, didn't get them in there. Hey, email admin@westlakecharter.com. Go to westlakecharter.com. Click on the WCS. Click on the reopening schools. You'll see our videos. You'll see our FAQs. And then this weekend, November 15th, we will be sending out information, updated family handbook and guide. And after you read that, again, admin@westlakecharter.com, because we're not going to get it right the first time, everybody. We're committing to giving you the best effort we got, but we need you to be like, oh, answer this question, answer that question, so we can keep updating that book and making it better. And we demonstrate what's possible when school and community collaborate, and community collaborate around editing things that we send out. Thank you for giving us feedback. We need it. We need to hear your questions. Any closing thoughts, Mrs. Hustead?
No, I think we've had a great coffee talk. Remember, I think tonight went out, if you haven't filled out your return to school survey yet, I think there was a reminder that went out tonight. Yeah. And I watched the videos that you guys have talked about over and over again. I watched those, especially the one where Mr. Ike is a student, which I love. And you can see the dots. And I watched it with my kids. Yeah. And I think it was really great to talk to them about what school will be like. So I think it helps make that decision. So we've all got to do it, and it's a hard decision, but I like this conversation. Yep.
I love it. Hey, Ms. Battin, any closing thoughts?
No, just thanks for letting me be here tonight. I know there's a lot in the water right now. We're making a lot of decisions about the now, and I'm going to talk to you about the fall of 2021. So as we talk about the 15th and reading the Return to School Manual, carve a little time out to click on WCHS, the tab for that, and our next video will be launching on the 15th as well, but that will be up for a while, so once you go through the rest of it, you can go check that out too. So thanks for letting me come talk high school.
Yeah, we love it. Come on back again. Ms. Caillou, any closing thoughts?
I just wanted to make sure Carissa just sent in an appreciation, and so I just wanted to share it out loud. Thank you for having coffee talks. She appreciates all the time that each one of us devotes to this community meeting, and so I would say that as well. I look at each person on this screen and the commitment that we have to our community, and I'm so grateful. I look at Melissa Grunholtz, we call her MG at work, and she is one of the smartest people I know, and she's been so wonderful as she has worked to create these safety protocols with Mrs. O'Hagan. Mrs. O'Hagan is in the background right now, but I'm just so thankful too. So I just wanted to publicly appreciate all of these people on the screen that are working so hard. Mrs. Battin plays in this team as well, as we plan these instructional models, and we're so glad that she's part of that as well.
Yeah, love it. Hey, MG, which I thought MG stand for Mrs. Grunholtz, but it's Melissa. Yeah, MG. MG, you got any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to shout out Amber Hustead as our lead volunteer for the Olympic Triathlon as well. I think we had a really successful day today for OT kit pickups and drop off of donations, and I'm just so excited for Friday and the community that we will have together through this event.
I love it. I love it. Hey, we're 15 minutes over time, so my closing is just thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you to everybody on screen and off screen who are helping to make this thing happen. Like you guys all mentioned, there's people who prepped us for this show, but also all of you at home who've dropped in comments. You were a part of the show. This is us demonstrating what's possible when school and community collaborate. Man, I'm a big fan of Westlake Charter School and this entire community. Thank you for all that you do. And as always, let's explore. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good night. And all right.